Hey YouTube, what's going on? So I've been on a huge Metal Gear Solid binge recently. In fact, ever since the Death Stranding 2 trailer, which featured someone who looks a lot like Solid Snake, I've been replaying all the games. Now, this is my favourite series of all time. Played each numbered entry when it came out, so all the way back to Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation 1. Remember the anticipation for Metal Gear Solid 2 on the PlayStation 2. And I've just had a great time replaying them and posting clips on here and on TikTok and reading people's comments about the nostalgia, the memories it brings back for them when they played it when they were a kid, or they watched their dad play it, things they remember that were really cool, things they found really moving in the games as well. So I thought it'd be fun to do my own little ranking of the games. Now I think they're all great, so this is like a ranking from least amazing to most amazing. And I'll talk about the things that I really love in each game and some of the things that maybe could be a bit better too. So without further ado, let's begin. So in 5th place, it is Metal Gear Solid 5. Now mechanically, I think this is the best one. The controls, the player movement, all the toys and gadgets that you've got to play with. It's fantastic. Just the whole sandbox environment as well. The way you can just goof off, abusing the stealth mechanics and have fun with the guards. It's really great. So many high points as well. The prologue Ground Zeroes mission is absolutely fantastic. I love that map. It's really open-ended the way you can approach that mission. There's so many cinematic high points in Phantom Pain as well. The opening mission where you have to escape from the hospital, there's the infamous Mission 43 as well, where the guards on Mother Base have become infected with the pathogen. Just fantastic. The big reveal at the end as well. So why is it in last place? The reason really is because the game wasn't finished on release, so there is quite a bit of padding towards the end where you replay missions on a high difficulty. We know there was stuff that didn't make it to the game, so there's no mission to recapture Metal Gear from Eli, for example. And I would happily sacrifice all the side content in the game, which is great, the side ops, building Mother Base, the FOB missions. I just wish we had the full story instead of the side ops. A couple of other things I'd change as well is I would like more indoor stealth sections. Most of the game is outdoors. I do like sneaking around corridors in a cardboard box, so a few levels of that would be great. And I'd prefer a more linear story like the other games instead of having the mission structure. I did find that interrupted the flow a little bit. Obviously, we have to talk about voice casting as well. A lot of people miss David Hayter, who is obviously iconic and people associate him with Big Boss and Solid Snake. I have to say, I think Kiefer Sutherland is absolutely fantastic in this. He is bang on the money, and I think it was the right choice. So that's Metal Gear Solid 5. Flawed for sure, but nevertheless an amazing game. In 4th place, it is Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Now this is a lot of people's favourite in the series, so you might ask, why haven't I placed it higher? And the reason is, I think this is the most consistent gameplay experience of all of them. It is really solid, if you excuse the pun, really solid all the way through. But it just doesn't have any standout moments for me the way the other games do. It's just really good. Doesn't really do much wrong. If I was going to change anything in the game, it would be the field surgery system. I do find that quite immersion breaking. The idea that you can just stop and sew yourself up doing a boss fight doesn't really work for me. Again, changing camouflage as well mid-boss fight. So I prefer the system in Metal Gear Solid 5 where you have to choose a loadout at the start of the mission. Aside from that, gameplay's really good all the way through. I like the woodland sections. I like the boss fights. I like that you're getting the origin story for Big Boss. It's setting up some of the lore for the rest of the series. Obviously, there's the ladder sequence. There's the iconic Snake Eater theme. Like I say, it just doesn't have those cinematic peaks that the other games have. And that's why it's in 4th place. And in 3rd place, it is Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty. Now, the tanker level for me is peak Metal Gear because it's got all the things I love. You play a Solid Snake. You're sneaking around corridors, there's tension, there's humour, it looks fantastic. The upgrades to the gameplay compared to Metal Gear Solid 1, so you now have first person aiming, which was actually a really big deal at the time. However, we do need to talk about Raiden. So I played this on PS2 when it came out. This was, in the days before internet leaks, so I did not know what was coming. And it's like, who is this guy? Why is his voice different? Why has he got blonde hair? He just seems like emo Snake. He does redeem himself by the end, and in the later games, Revengeance and Metal Gear Solid 4, he is a complete badass. But I wanted to play as Solid Snake all the way through. So at the time, I have to say, it was a little bit disappointing, but looking back now, it's a fantastic game all the way through. I think the tanker level probably is just a bit more compelling in terms of tension and gameplay compared to Big Shell. But I do like the way they mix up the gameplay in the second half, so having to find the bombs and freeze them, having to find aims. The way the guards AI works as well is really cool, so they will check in with each other, and if they don't hear back, they'll send a search party. There's all the stuff with Campbell being an AI, telling you to turn off the game console, the story itself where it predicts the future of AI quite accurately and the impact of social media. And then the reveal that you are playing a simulation of the Shadow Moses incident, all sorts of things slot into place. It's just a really smart, funny, clever game, and I absolutely love it, even if it does have Raiden. And in second place, it is Metal Gear Solid 1. Now, this game just, I can't even begin to tell you, when it came out, I played the hell out of this. Obviously, there's Snake, he's just an amazing character. The atmosphere and tension in the game, so it really does feel like a race against time. And the first time you play it as well, just all the character reveals, the rug pulls, the twists, the plot turns. So many iconic moments that break the fourth wall. There's Meryl's codec, which was literally on the back of the CD case. There's the Psycho Mantis boss fight where he reads your memory card, and then you have to swap the controller port. It's just one great moment after another. They just keep coming. The boss fights as well, Ocelot, the initial fight against Liquid when he's in the Hind D, fight on top of Metal Gear, the fight against Metal Gear itself, the car chase at the end. Like I say, the great moments just keep coming. The game looks fantastic as well. Yes, they're PS1 graphics, but the art design is so good. It's actually aged pretty well. The top-down mechanic still works really well because the game environments are actually quite small. You don't need the 3D camera the same way you did with the Subsistence version of Metal Gear Solid 3. Really, the only downside I can think of is the pacing towards the end. You do have to do quite a bit of backtracking to change the shape of the PAL card, but otherwise, for PlayStation 1 era, I would say this is pretty much a perfect game. So yes, my favourite Metal Gear Solid game is Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots, which might seem like a strange choice. The game was quite divisive when it came out because there are a lot of cutscenes, and I mean a lot of cutscenes. But really, what I love about the game is the emotional roller coaster that it takes you on. So Solid Snake is old Snake in this game. He is suffering from accelerated aging because he is a clone. So this was built into his DNA, and he doesn't have long left to live. So really the game acts as his swan song. And he's really put through it physically and emotionally. You can see the toll it's taking on him. People's reaction to him as well. So Meryl doesn't recognize him because he's aged so quickly. When he meets Naomi again and she offers to examine him, she's shocked at his physical condition. Now the gameplay in Metal Gear Solid 4, which we should talk about as well, is really, really good. So there's a lot of variety. You've got urban warfare in the Middle East in the first chapter, where you can fight alongside the militia if you want to. You go to South America in the second chapter, and again, if you want to fight alongside the guerrillas, you can. I love the Cold War Eastern European vibe of Chapter 3, where you're tailing someone through the streets. The mechanics are really good, so again, they've built on the controls from Metal Gear Solid 3, and you can see how it's a stepping stone to Metal Gear Solid 5. There's a wonderful bit of fan service where the game takes you back to Shadow Moses Island, and it emulates the PS1 game, so you play through the first kind of minute of that game, which is really cool, and then it snaps you back into the PS3 game. And then you see Shadow Moses just deserted, covered in snow. There's snippets of dialogue from the original game. just really nostalgic. And when I posted clips of that on TikTok and on here, the number of people commenting, as I said in the intro, it just brought back so many memories for them playing the game when they were younger. So it works on a lot of levels. So you think about Snake when he was in his prime, and you think about you when you were a lot younger. And as you get towards the end of the game, there's that amazing final confrontation with Liquid, where there's a cutscene of Solid or Old Snake fighting Liquid Snake, and then the health bars fill up in the style of Metal Gear Solid 1, and it's playing Metal Gear Solid 1 music, and then the next phase, it's Metal Gear Solid 2, and then the Snake Eater theme kicks in, and then finally the Old Snake theme. It's just pure cinema. And then finally, we're back in the cemetery where the game started. Snake is visiting the grave of the boss and Big Boss, and he's having his last cigarette. So he has been told by Naomi that the Foxdie virus within him has mutated and will turn into a deadly epidemic. And the only way to avoid that is for him to die. And obviously he has accelerated aging anyway, so this is his final moment. He's going to have his last cigarette, and then he's going to take his own life. So you see the scene where he has a gun, he brings it up to his mouth, the camera pans away, you hear a gunshot, and the credits roll, and it just leaves you thinking all sorts of things like, wow, did I really just see that in a video game? And is that how his story really ends after everything that he's been through? You know, it's a really, really powerful moment. So the credits roll, they have the names of the voice cast, and then there's a gap to the final name, and out of nowhere, Big Boss, Richard Doyle.
That's right. Good. No need for you to go just yet. It's been a long time, Snake.
And there you have it. That's my ranking. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Which one's your favorite? What are your favorite Metal Gear moments from the series? And I will catch you on the next one. Cheers.